I took an old sideboard, decided I wanted to funk it up, make it a little bit different from the norm. So we sanded it, washed it, repaired it, filled the holes, and then I painted with a base coat of the grey just to give it a good base colour. Then I took a 2-inch wide flat Frenchic brush and decided to paint stripes on with freehand. And each stripe took 2 coats, and I had to dry the coats in between whiles. So it took an awfully long time to get the stripes on. Of course, when it's freehand, it's not quite so easy to do either, but I wanted a rustic look and I wanted it to look a bit like naive painting. I put the camera in the same position every day and did a speeded up version, and how I wish that you could actually paint at that sort of speed. I didn't exactly know the colours I was going to use. I sort of went with my intuition and figured that I would work it out as I went along. The whole idea was to use up a lot of odds and sods of paint that was still left over in my paint store cupboard. It was quite pleasing to do. It totally took my concentration, and I had the radio on in the background and usually a cup of coffee and sometimes even a glass of wine. And whilst I'm painting, I'm in the zone, and although I have thoughts, they don't really attach. And so it's a little bit like a form of meditation. Yeah, I think that was a sneaky cup of coffee then. The paints I used were from the Frenchic ranges right across the board. There were trim paints, there were original Artisan paints, wall paints, al fresco, and as long as the colour matched in and as long as it was a tin of paint that I needed to use up, it was fair game. I know the colour I'm putting on there is actually Fifi's Fancy, which is the wall colour paint that they named after Fifi's Fancy furniture, which made me feel very proud. Quite hard painting straight lines onto a curved surface as well. So anybody with OCD should never buy this cabinet because it would simply drive you nuts. It was a project that I thought would only be very, very quick to do, and I completely underestimated how long it actually took to paint all these lines on individually and try and straighten them up and decide which colours to do and drying them in between whiles, etc. A long process. I began to get quite excited as we were getting to the edge of the cabinet. I'd been taking up room in my utility room and I really just wanted it finished. I decided then I would paint the inside of the cabinet because I always like to do that, and I painted the ends of the cabinet and I painted the legs, and I left those just in a solid colour because I felt that there was so much busyness going on the main body of the cabinet that having some plainness would be a bit of a relief on the eyes. You can see Nick popping in and out during this video, and he was actually working in the other room painting another piece of furniture, so it was quite nice to have some company and to be able to have coffee breaks with somebody. There we go, filling in the ends, doing the legs and doing the archway up underneath the drawers in the middle of the cabinet. And here I am putting the browning wax on. I use a wax brush, Frenchic wax brush, and I really lather it on, and then I just wipe off any excess. And I did 2 or 3 coats of the wax. This was me just painting the inside of the drawers just to match the ends and the legs. And I even waxed the insides of the cabinets, cupboards and the drawers. I painted over the handles, and then I used sandpaper to wipe off or sand back a lot of the paint that was on the handles, so that some of the metal showed through and gave for a sort of a rather distressed look. And then I left it to dry, polished it up, and now it's in the shop, ready for sale. I hope you've enjoyed my video, and thanks very much for watching.